Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about the HVAC brand called Oxbox. And before we get to that, if you love chocolate cake, long romantic walks on the beach, or chubby guys that do heating and air videos, please click that subscribe button. Alright guys, so I got this question recently on our YouTube channel and I figured I would do a quick video on it, and that is the brand Oxbox. And if you've never heard of them, that might be because of two reasons. Number one, they haven't been out very long. Trane launched that brand, I believe, in 2019. And the other reason is they may not be available in your market or just becoming available in your market. So who are they? Where did they come from? And what is their history? And are they good or not? So real quick, the history would be a few years ago, Trane had their Trane brand, their American Standard brand, and they were both known as a premium brand in the industry. And in a lot of cases, they were the same exact product. Same model numbers in some cases, same products. I even went to the factory once, and you would see on the conveyor belt in the factory, Trane stuff coming down it and American Standard stuff coming down it. And same stuff, just painted a different color in some cases. And then to capture that builder grade market, the economy, folks that are just looking for the cheapest thing out there, to combat that, Trane or Ingersoll Rand, who owned Trane at the time, now they're supposedly broken off and they're their own entity or corporation. I don't know. Depends on what year, who owns who sometimes. But they came out with this Ameristar line, and whether you were a Trane dealer or an American Standard dealer, you could offer this Ameristar line, and it was their builder grade line to combat some of these other cheap brands. Builder grade is the term they like to use, but basically it's the cheap stuff in most cases. Back then, Ameristar was manufactured by a company called Midea. They're out of China. They were imported into the US. And for all intents and purposes, they were not actually manufactured by Trane. They were just a rebranded product that they distributed as their builder grade brand. So just a few years ago, Trane pivoted and, they broke loose from Ingersoll Rand and they, all this corporate stuff, and now they're their own corporation. But they also launched basically two new brands, one being Ameristar again, and one being Run True. And if you've watched any of my videos, you've heard me talk about Run True. And the idea was they're no longer made in China. Ameristar and Run True are both made in Trane or American Standard factories, and they are somewhat compatible, as I understand it. So Run True is Trane's builder grade brand, and Ameristar is American Standard's builder grade brand. And then what they did was they took that old Ameristar line, but still Midea, still made in China, and they rebranded it as what you now know as Oxbox. So that's the history. Now, you might have a contractor telling you about Oxbox. What is my take on it? I have not personally laid hands on one of the products since they turned it into the Oxbox brand, but it's essentially still the same stuff. You can look at it and physically see it's the same stuff. I mean, even the little, holes that they cut in the metal. I mean, the units themselves look exactly the same. But I think the ultimate thing here is, for the longest time, there were brands that basically fell into three categories, and I'm going to do a whole video on this, but basically, there were brands that, only certain contractors could sell. They were premium brands, and you had to jump through hoops and maybe even have a little bit of an exclusivity agreement, et cetera, et cetera. If you were a contractor, you had to sell a certain amount to sell that brand. And so, Trane, Carrier, Lennox, all the big dogs have always had some sort of exclusivity, and that has grown. Now you got Daikin as one of the premium brands, and just all these different brands. Then you had brands that just about anyone could buy, that any contractor could buy. And so a lot of times that was builder grade brands. There were some premium brands, or at least they called themselves premium brands, that fell into that category, but really anybody could buy them. And then there were products that it seemed like there for a while that anyone, not just any contractor, but anyone, any Joe off the street could just walk into the supply house and buy them. And I'm not going to go through all those brands and who they are and what the pros and cons of that are, but basically any Joe could walk in off the street. I remember talking to builders, you know, general contractors that could say, "Oh, well, I can buy this. You know, I can go buy a heating and air system." Well, yeah, you know, I know you can. But anyway, so you basically had those three categories, and I've been told that the whole idea is, even though that, you know, you've got Run True and Ameristar as their builder grade, you know, lower grade, but maybe they say it's a higher premium product than most builder grade products, which might be true because they do have that spine fin coil that Trane hangs their hat on. But then Oxbox is that brand in their lineup that just about any schmo can buy. So, you know, a lot of these brands, I want to caution you before you go and buy one of those brands, if you are just a, you know, hairy homeowner off the street and you just want to go buy something, whether it's from a supply house or from a website, I want to let you know that some brands are starting to crack down on that. And what I mean by that is, even though they are not cracking down on, you know, you buying it, they want your money. They're starting to crack down on whether or not they're going to honor their warranties. You know, if you can't prove that it was installed by a licensed contractor, then they're not going to honor their warranties. So I've heard some of them threaten that over the years, but it seems like maybe they're starting to enforce that. All that said, back on topic, if you're looking at Oxbox, you've got a contractor maybe that's offering it, or you're considering it for your home, I can say again from my personal experiences, before it was Oxbox, when it was Ameristar and it was the Chinese Medea products, I had some that we installed that we had good experiences with. You know, we put them in and, you know, didn't hear back from the customers. But I did have a couple, one in particular that even to this day, it seems like every now and then they seem to have an issue or two. And so you know, I'm not the biggest fan of them, to be completely honest, but that's just my personal experience. I think ultimately when I'm asked about brands, and I'll wrap up with this, I'm asked about brands every day, you know, or at least every week. People will email me, "Hey, well, what do you think about this brand?" Or "What do you think about this or that?" My whole take, and if you've seen any of my other videos, the bottom line is find a contractor that you love, a contractor that's going to answer their phone, one that's not just going to install the system and become a stranger again, but someone that, you know, you're going to have them do proper maintenance to the system, preventative maintenance. They're going to be someone that you might bump into in the grocery store and y'all can say hello, right? You know, just somebody that you like. You know, if you are getting quotes, get someone that gives you the most warm fuzzies out of the quotes you're getting, and then go with the brand they recommend. I have brands that I love for certain reasons, but I don't personally believe that any one brand is the best in every market. So find a good contractor, and if they're offering a particular brand, go with what they're recommending, because they're probably recommending it for one reason or another. All that said, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.